as always, your man, the dad number one, Josh, aka Freud, is here with my friend and other dad. I was gonna say dad number two, but then that makes it sound like you're a lesser dad, which is not the
it
case.
does. So I'm like, no,
Our other dad number one, Kraig, aka
Also,
Tungsten Phoenix.
Oh no, I'm not. I was gonna say I'm the first dad, so hey, but
That's true.
Well, Laser is.
Oh, that's
Laser's
true.
been a dad much longer, and
Yeah.
I don't know about Rhino, but
not Rhino, but in our broader circle, maybe you're not the first dad, but between the two of us, you've got dad seniority.
I do.
How is it going, man? How has the dad life been the last few weeks?
So we've had a bout of RSV going around our little town.
Oh.
And it's a virus. It's a different cold virus, I guess. There's no it's bad for not toddlers, for infants and elderly, but
yeah,
what isn't. And of course Kale got it because he goes to school, or he goes Montessori. So of course he got it, and it's been like 2 weeks since he's had it, but the only symptoms he's really had is a runny nose and a cough. So we're just sort of like, okay, maybe you just are kind of asymptomatic for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tuesday he got a fever at school, so we were like, okay, come home.
Oof, yeah.
And then last night he woke up at like 10, which he goes to bed at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. He woke up just crying, not screaming or anything, just like crying. And he was like, my tummy hurts, my ears hurt, my head hurts. At first we thought he was maybe just constipated or gassy. Gave him a little bath. And then this morning we were, because this went on throughout the night pretty much. I was up till like 2 with him, and then I was like, I can't, I gotta sleep. I am passing out right now.
Yeah.
And so he fell asleep on the couch, stayed on the couch, and then he woke up like a half an hour later or something, and Kelly hung out with him for half an hour and then put him in his bed. He slept for the rest of the not the rest, because I think it was like 3 or 4 in the morning, and then he woke up at 6 and apparently had a coughing fit and then threw up.
Oh my
due
gosh.
to the coughing fit.
Oh my gosh.
But it wasn't like, it wasn't like,
yeah.
It was like, it was mostly phlegm or mucus, and then I guess a little bit of stomach contents due to like gag reflex, but for the most part it was just stuff. And then so we took him to the pediatrician's today. He has a double ear infection, and while we were getting his coat on to leave, we found out he actually had some blood in his ear.
Oh.
It dried, and there was some fresh stuff coming out.
Yeah.
We were like, oh god, because he has tubes in his ear, in both of his ears.
Oh.
And we were like, what's happening? Like, are the tubes coming out, or does he have an infection? Or so we got him to the pediatrician's office. Like, yeah, he's got an infection in both ears, and the one ear is plugged up with stuff, and that's why there's no blood in that one. But this one's just drainage, basically, and it's nothing to be concerned about. It's just an ear infection.
Yeah.
We were like,
yeah, so that's good news. Poor kid's probably in a lot of discomfort.
No,
but
today he's been fine.
Yes, well, that's good.
I don't understand him, because like during the daytime he is totally fine, full of energy, vim and vigor. Maybe needs a nap, but then once nap is done, he's off like a rocket. Nighttime, goes to sleep, wakes up, it's all over, end of the world.
Can't keep up with it. You never know.
No, yeah. It's the first ear infection he's had since he got his tubes in, so that's good. And I'm sure it's the result of the RSV or whatever else, it's been going around.
Right, so, right. Oh, well, I hope I hope he continues to recover and is okay.
Sick kiddos are not fun.
No, when a kid is sick, no one's having a good time. We've gotten kind of lucky. Our little one hasn't really had a big sickness. She kind of had a little fever and sickness for like a day or two a number of months back, but nothing big. Knock on wood. So hopefully that continues. But she's actually been pretty fun lately. She's been in a pretty good mood throughout a lot of the days. Just today, I was trying to slide in some Red Dead Redemption with her on my lap. She loves controllers. She thinks they're fascinating. So she kept reaching and trying to play with the controller while I was playing. She ended up surprising me and steering me into some passerbys, which
Oh,
I then ran into, got knocked off my horse, and then they started shooting at me.
oh
And then
no.
someone saw the shootout, and then I got reported for murder. It was a big mess. um, so yeah, I guess we've got a little gamer in the making, maybe.
Oh, that's funny.
Got a wild streak already, but she's been a lot of fun. We've been having some fun with her, so she's been a lot more giggly, and we're
No,
just hoping this kind of happy phase lasts for a while. Because I know that things change all the time with kids, so
definitely enjoy it while it lasts.
yes, we will. We will. Well, let's jump in because we've got some stuff to talk about today. And before we get to our big two topics of the day, you've got an Activision update for us, I believe.
Just a real quick little Activision Blizzard update. Due to the split with Bungie, there have been multiple class action lawsuits, which is, I think it's funny that there's multiple class action lawsuits to begin with, because a class action lawsuit is by definition multiple parties joining together
Mm-hmm.
in a lawsuit. And so the fact that there's multiple parties joining together with multiple parties, I'm just like, just do one. Just do one.
Yeah,
Why
I
do
don't
you got to make it complicated?
know.
Anyways, that's just an aside. I'm sure there's a reason for it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But multiple class action lawsuits brought by specifically investors who purchased stock in Activision between, I think it was something like December and January.
Mm.
Oh no, sorry, August 2nd and January 10th.
Okay.
Um, because they feel that Activision misrepresented their interest in and their like plans for Bungie and the IP and everything. And
Yeah.
so, when they purchased stock, they were like, okay, so we're also purchasing stock in Bungie essentially and making the game. And so,
Right.
we have a stake in that.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, just out of the blue, they're just like, bye, Bungie.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
so now
Destiny.
everyone's like, yeah,
Destiny's a
now all of
massive
them are,
franchise, so
this is not what we signed up for.
right.
We, this is, I think part of it's probably personally, and just kind of having a very basic, not very functional or good even maybe understanding of investing and stuff like that. I imagine that at least some of the people into those lawsuits are very much just, they smell blood in the water and they're like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are people that like if they see a way to make some extra money, through a
yeah.
lawsuit or something, they're going to take it.
I just have a really hard time believing that there's so many people who are just like, we bought stock in Activision because we believed in their passion for Bungie. And now
Yeah.
Bungie's gone, and now I feel cheated out of my money. I don't buy that. I do
Yeah.
not believe
So I
that
mean,
there are investors that
it's
were like, "Oh, I'm
probably
here for Bungie."
right. No, I think you're probably right where people weren't investing just because they're huge Bungie fans. But we have to keep in mind is that when we talk about investors, a lot of times we're talking about people that invest massive sums of money into like stocks or into these companies. And so even if they're not invested in Bungie, if they feel like I would imagine if they did any research at all, they would have looked at the big franchises or the big games that were under Activision. And Destiny is certainly a huge franchise, or at least was a huge franchise for them.
Yeah.
Did make a lot of money when Destiny 2 launched.
So they're
Even
probably, from their perspective, definitely seeing a large IP that brings in a fair amount of income
mm-hmm.
or profit to the company just being let go. So I
Yeah.
could also see, yeah, that's also a very good
And
point.
the split was without warning, and
Mm-hmm.
and if they looked at the contracts that Activision had, this was outside of the contract. Destiny was and Bungie were supposed to stay with Activision for longer.
Yeah.
So I could kind of see where it's coming from. The
Yeah.
interesting thing, there's still a lot we don't know, but the interesting thing to me is that I wonder if now that this is getting dragged into court, if we might actually get more information on the split itself, why the split happened, and just a little bit more information. Because understandably, both Activision and Bungie are kind of being hush hush about the
Yeah.
actual details of the split and what might have led up to it.
From the looks of the accusations and everything, I definitely think we're going to be seeing more reasoning why come into the public view, because unless they figure out a way to be like, here's the reason why this is not public information, here's a gag order. But it does look like it, because what they're saying is that The basis of the lawsuit is that Activision Blizzard has been issuing misleading statements about their plans for the Destiny franchise going forward, as they had been aware of the upcoming separation of Bungie and their loss of ownership over the Destiny franchise. So what they're saying is that they knew for a long time that this was coming, and that this was a plan. And the only way for them to really refute that is, and I don't know if that's a legal, I mean, I guess it would be a legal complication simply because if they're telling people the opposite and they know it's coming, that would be true. But if it wasn't, then they would literally have to just be like, it was a spur of the moment decision. We looked over finances in January and we're just like, you know what, screw it, cut our losses.
Yeah.
I don't also have to have proof of that, and I don't know how you would prove.
Yeah, who knows? I'll let the courts figure that out, I guess.
Yeah.
But
that's the update on Activision.
That's the update. Yeah. No, I think it is an interesting update. More woe for Activision is kind of the main subtext, I guess. But I'm hoping we get more information about the split. We will keep you all updated with that as/if more information comes out. We're Bungie fans, and Activision is kind of a big player in video games, so interesting stuff. But let's get into our first big topic, which is the Anthem. I guess we're calling it a demo. The Anthem demo, which just came out this Friday. I think it was on Friday when it came out. It was released.
Friday. Yeah, servers went live on Friday.
Okay. I have not had a chance to play this yet, but I have watched a decent amount of footage from other streamers, so I feel like I have a pretty good sense of what the game looks like, at least what the demo looks like. But you've actually had a chance to play this, yeah? So tell me, what are your thoughts? What is Anthem? What is it like? Is it a Destiny killer? That's what everyone's going to ask, right?
Primarily, no. Absolutely not. Okay. I don't think it is a Destiny killer because they're two different games. Anthem will not occupy the same space as Destiny.
Yeah. So please tell me about this.
I think a reason why is because you think looter shooter, and one of the biggest, the current biggest thing right now is Destiny.
Right.
But the reality is, once you start getting, I didn't really know this because I've never played any like MMO looter games like Diablo or anything like that. So I didn't know exactly how it's supposed to function and stuff. But now that I've played even just the demo of Anthem, I can already tell you that Destiny is not a looter. It is a high reward RPG shooter.
So you wouldn't call it a looter?
I wouldn't call it a looter now that I've actually played a real looter. I wouldn't say that Destiny is a looter.
So tell me what feels different about the loot system in Anthem when you compare it to Destiny. What makes Anthem a looter?
There's a few things.
I think I agree with you.
One of the primary things is scaling difficulty. Because this was not something I was actually actively aware of. So for the PvE, and that's another thing to mention, that Anthem doesn't have any PvP on launch. Okay. They keep using the phrase on launch when they refer to things.
Yeah, they just want to keep their doors open.
Sure. That's the thing. I'm not sure if they're just being like, we might look into this later in the future and we just don't want to, put a big rubber stamp no on it and then have to take that back, or if we actually have active plans to expand this game. Because I don't know. Yeah. I don't think they know either.
Maybe not.
But anyways, so the first major difference to me is scaling difficulty. And there's no difficulty in PvE on Destiny. Like, it's what it is for everybody all across the board. They have different activities that have different levels of difficulty. And then basically the only thing that scales in difficulty is the raid, at which point it's either normal raid or prestige mode, in which it's a little different. Things have changed and they're a little harder mechanic.
Well, they do have the light level increases, right? In Destiny?
Yes, but that's not the same.
Okay.
So what Anthem does is much more akin to Diablo, whereas so from easy, like if you're using easy mode as the base, which you should, easy is not like I've never played a shooter before, I've never played a looter before. It is the baseline. Okay. Enemies' health are at, I guess, 100% or just, standard health level. Your health is at a standard health level, and you take a standard level of damage from dependent on any enemies. Normal mode, you take 50% more damage, and enemy health increases by, I don't remember if it was 50 or 100% for normal mode.
Whoa,
hard mode, 300% enemy health damage.
So this scales up fast.
There are, from easy mode, there are 5 further difficulty.
Wow.
I think it's like Master, Grandmaster, and Grandmaster 2, or Grandmaster 1, 2, 3, or something like that.
Okay.
And the enemy health scales up, the damage you take scales up, and I think your health scales down.
So I'm guessing the way you're describing this is that you can't treat this like a single player game where you could just start a game on hard if you just want an increased challenge. If you do that in Anthem, you're just you can't even play. I'm guessing it's too hard.
No. Yes. So okay. So and a big example of this is my friend Feely he's also been playing Anthem, and we went and did I went and did a level earlier today that's in the demo on easy mode because I was doing it solo and I wanted to see what it would be like on easy mode. It was okay, and then halfway through the fight I started getting absolutely destroyed, so I had to go hide, recover my shield, and just poke the big boss from behind a rock, basically. And that's on easy mode. Well, Feely went and did it on hard mode, or on normal mode, and it was nearly impossible.
Wow.
Because the scaling of difficulty is such that Anthem is absolutely a multiplayer game.
Okay.
I'm not going to buy Anthem unless I have at least 3 other friends who are definitely going to play that game. Because the only thing you're going to be able to really do in Anthem is
you're going to have to team up.
You're going to play easy, or you're going to have to team up. And that brings me to point number 2. Point number 2 is loadouts. Destiny 2 doesn't really have impactful loadouts. There are weapons with certain perks that make certain things easier, but for the most part, honestly, you could probably run a raid with whatever gun you wanted.
Yeah.
Historically speaking, there have been guns like the Gallarhorn from Destiny 1 where, LFGs would be like, you have to have a Gallarhorn or you're not going to be in our group, get out.
But that was just because it made it so much easier, not because
it doesn't mean that this is impossible without this loadout.
Right.
From the sounds of it, loadouts are going to be extremely key to getting past certain obstacles. And when it comes to LFG, it sounds like there will definitely be they figured out the loadout to beat this boss, and if you do not have this loadout, you are not joining our group. End of story. Furthermore, there are different javelins. So javelins are the power suit armor that you wear, that you fly around in. And you get different bonuses and effects from running a squad with different types of javelins that complement or work off of each other. So the other thing, there's like a mid-range javelin that does everything. It's jack of all trades but master of none. And like anybody loading into an LFG in that javelin is going to get kicked out, because you want to have these very prescribed loadouts, sets, and set bonuses and everything for everybody.
So
in order to deal the most amount of damage. And I think that's going to make LFG so incredibly annoying.
So that's actually, like, the way you're describing it is a little concerning to me, where I really like the idea of having lots of different specialized types of loadouts, because again, if we're going to compare this to Destiny, which it's hard not to right now, because that's really
that's one other comparison that's been made.
There's one other good comparison that I'll get to in a few minutes, but Destiny's going to be the main one. Like with Destiny, like it was actually a little bit better in Destiny 1 because you had more customization options with your class. And they took that away for Destiny 2 for some reason. There's like far less class ability customization.
It was for simplicity and to be more.
It was a bad call, in my opinion. I agree. I don't want to go down that rabbit trail, but I agree with you. Where like, grab the weapons that you like the most. Maybe for some fights, it might be helpful to have a sniper so you can keep your distance. On whatever, but like. And like sometimes there would be some like, okay, it'd be great if we had a few warlocks in our team because they have the healing ability or the damage buff, and so there's a little bit of like variety in there, but not the kind of class specialization and gear specialization and loadout specialization that you would get from a game like Diablo, which I think is an interesting comparison.
And I would also say, like, from what I've heard, because again, I haven't played Diablo.
Okay, I have.
It's
been a while.
When he was saying, if you make the comparison between Anthem and Diablo, I'm going to laugh at you because Diablo is a true looter, whereas Anthem, it seems like Anthem is going to be a bridge, really, between shooters and looters. So it's still going to be lax on some of the looting mechanics and stuff. It's
Sure,
still going to
sure.
be.
They're different
I think
games. They're
it's
pretty
going to be
different.
more accessible
Uh-huh.
to shooter people from a
Yeah.
looter standpoint. So it's
Yeah.
still going to be a middle
I
ground.
mean, it's not a Diablo clone.
hardcore.
I don't think
No,
they're trying to make a Diablo clone.
no.
But the loot progression, you might be able to draw some similarities there. But anyway, so I think the idea of having much more, a ton more options available to you to how you customize your loadout, all the different armor abilities, all the different weapons, all the ways they synergize together, like in your own class. You've got the different javelins, which from what I've seen play pretty differently, which I think is really cool. Like I saw some people doing that mid-range and the different abilities they have. Then I watched someone playing, I want to say it's the Interceptor, I can't remember, but kind of like the ninja like type javelin, and they were just getting in really close to enemies and slicing and dicing, and that it just looked totally different than the other javelins how they played. Which again, I think that's all really cool, but if the level design is so inflexible that you have to have certain loadouts to be able to group up with other people and win, that's a concern for me, because all that specialization options are really cool as long as all the different options are also viable.
I think it's more going to be for like the higher or more end game kind of
the
content.
more end game stuff. Yeah,
you know,
that does make
like,
sense.
I guess the problem on me speaking, like I have the most experience with Anthem between the two of us right now, but I don't understand looters in general because I've never played one. So
well, and we should also say
to it.
Yeah, we should also say that this is just a demo. All our impressions are based off a demo. Yes. So no one really knows what the end game is going to be like or what kinds of armor specializations are going to be optimal and work well.
And then furthermore, this build that is being demoed right now is 6 weeks old.
Okay.
There have been 6 weeks of bug fixes, UI changes, economy changes, or economy. I think economy was actually just set specifically for the demo from the looks of it, because all the unlocks are 25 coins, and I'm pretty sure it's just set that way for the demo.
Yeah.
So like the economy is obviously going to be significantly different. I don't even know how you earn coins. What was the other thing? I think it was balance. Balance is different now than it was 6 weeks ago, which is what we're playing.
Sure. Yeah.
So this build is 6 weeks old and things have changed. A lot of the bugs that we run into and stuff.
You would hope. Well, yeah. At least we assume things have changed. Like we would hope that some of the bugs would be fixed that are popping up, and you'd expect some balance and economy changes. That said, the main tech, the main systems, and the main world building and mission building and all that stuff, that's not going to change in 6 weeks. No. So we are getting, I think, a decent slice of what we might expect. So from what I've seen, I am actually fairly hopeful about this game. I agree with you. I don't think it's a Destiny killer because I do think it's too different of a game. In fact, if I were to put this game in competition with another game, I would actually say that its main competitor is The Division, or more accurately, The Division 2, which is coming out this year as well. Because from the eye test, the way that the combat and loot specialization and kind of plays out, it looks very similar, where you've got bosses that are kind of bullet spongy a lot of the time, and as you shoot them, you see their health bar kind of slowly whittle down, numbers are popping out, and you slowly get gear that just has bigger damage outputs or different ability specializations. I played a bit of Destiny, or not Destiny, sorry, I played that too, but I played a bit of Division 1, and those core systems felt pretty similar. And so I think that's actually the more accurate comparison.
I think you're right. I think if you could use sort of a comparison to define Anthem, it's Mass Effect had a baby with The Division.
Yeah, that's probably pretty fair. What I think The Division has going for it is the combat looks way more interesting than The Division. My number one complaint about The Division is that the combat was so boring. The enemies are boring, and to be fair, like how interesting can you make another soldier, versus in Anthem, you know, like there's all kinds of different enemies. There's
There's
like these
environmental
titans and
enemies.
yeah.
There's animals and stuff that you fight, and then there's entire different subspecies and groups and stuff that you fight. So there's
Right. It's like the variety of
different
enemies,
variety.
all the different abilities, combat like approaches that you can do there is so much more varied than
Yep.
what the Division can do. Not saying the Division's a bad game, but I do think Anthem has this going for it, as well as you know, all the different javelins, so you totally mix up your own combat style as well. So I think Anthem has that going for it over the Division. We still don't know what the Division 2 is going to be like, so who knows? That could
It's
be.
going to be very similar to the Division 1, except for maybe story is going to be different. The
Mm-hmm.
reality is that the mechanics of the game are going to be pretty similar.
Yeah. So
All
I,
that
I see
said,
I see those two competing more than Destiny, to
I
be
think
honest.
so too. Yeah. Flying is a lot of fun.
I was gonna ask, how does it feel?
It takes a minute to get used to it, kind of thing. But
Mm-hmm.
part of the thing is a lot of first impressions matter. My first impression was sleep deprived at 12 at
Yeah,
night with a
that's
sick
fair.
toddler. So, but this morning after cause like I jumped right into combat and flying, and I was like, it's like flying drunk basically and fighting drunk. I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, this isn't working. I suck at this. What's happening? Oh, and then I woke up this morning and later and after we came back from pediatrician's office, I played a bit and I was like, okay, no, this is better. A little better at this.
Yeah.
Um, it just takes a little bit getting used to. Flying is pretty good. It's pretty intuitive. I think the major complaint I have about it is the overheating system. You
Oh.
know, like your jets have a certain temperature that they
Yeah. So you can only
retain.
hover for so long or stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and I'm not a fan of that personally. I think it's arbitrary. I get it, but it's arbitrary.
Yeah.
Um, Combat feels good. It's not standout, It's not like,
Okay.
oh, this is a brand new combat system that's just amazing to play and feel. It's Mass Effect.
Okay.
It's Mass Effect multiplayer. There's not really cover mechanics, but you jump into cover anyways and stuff.
Okay.
Uh, there's a combo system that works really well when it works, or not when it works, but like
When you do it.
when you do it, yeah,
Plan for it.
it's not necessarily intuitive, but you can plan for it exactly, and then it's really really cool. Like it's pretty fresh. So
Yeah.
getting those kind of, I'm sure after a point, it's like okay, I know exactly I can do this ability, and that'll stack the combo, and then they'll pop it, and then it'll go boom.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just something that takes time to work out. Not to bag on that, the combo system I think is really
Yeah.
something that really surprised me, even though I know that they were talking about it during the reveal, was how incredibly intense and awesome customization is.
Yeah. From what I saw on the streams, I was blown away by
It's
that too.
pretty incredible. Like there are probably, I think there were 6 or 7 different paint zones,
Huh.
and every single zone you can change the material and you can change the
Yeah.
paint color, and you have full customization of the coloring.
Awesome.
You can buy different materials, which means I'm sure at some point or another they're going to start putting in different materials
Oh,
in the
I'm
store
sure
and
they're going to
stuff.
use this for like
It's
microtransactions, but
Yeah,
I'm
but it's
personally okay with
crazy
that.
how much.
Yeah.
And then there's different armor pieces that look different, so you can just
Mm-hmm.
change how your javelin
And
looks
none
to
of
begin
that
with.
is any of that tied to the gear, where like you have to have a certain looking
No,
armor piece. See,
no,
see,
none
that
of that.
is like that sets it
Yeah,
apart from Destiny, in my opinion.
yeah.
Because my biggest complaint about Destiny for years is that I can't look the way I want to look.
Yeah,
Like if I want to look this cool like outfit I've got, I have to wear whatever crappy armor is like whatever stats are attached to it.
yeah,
And so to have those things separate is such a good move, I think.
yeah. No, it's completely separate. How your armor looks is just how your armor looks, and then you have certain suit abilities or whatever that you
Hmm.
change out somewhere else.
Yeah, that's
And it's
great.
great. It's super
I
great.
love
So you
that.
can look however the heck you want. You're gonna have to pay for it, and that's the
Hmm.
thing. My concern is that coins are going to be purchased with real money or tokens or whatever.
Yeah, I'm
Which
kind of assuming that's going to be the case.
I get it. Of all the things in the world to be used as microtransaction, I guess I would prefer that
Hmm.
because it's just customization. It's just
Yeah,
aesthetics.
yeah,
It's not game changing or breaking, but I gotta admit, like having such a wide and really, really great customization tool, it'll be a little disappointing if absolutely everything is locked behind.
I don't think they'll lock everything behind. Of course, we don't know this is a demo, but my guess is that just like the basic changing whatever color you want and that kind of stuff, is going to be. I'm hoping this is speculative, but I'm hoping that will be kind of like free, and then there will be like stuff you can buy, maybe different armor pieces, maybe different armor types, maybe different like decals or something. That stuff.
There are decals. Yeah.
Okay.
There are vinyls. There are vinyls to change the.
So I bet they'll charge for some of those.
I'm sure they'll charge for some of them. I'm just concerned about how much.
Yeah.
Because it's like I want to make my javelin look really cool.
Of course, yeah.
And yeah, so I just don't want to spend, because the other thing is, like, especially at first, I don't know which javelin I want to be playing as. Odds are good I'm going to be playing as the big tank person, because that's just my personality. On the other hand, though, maybe not, because I actually don't know how to tank.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely what that javelin is for tanking. And I've never been very good at roles in MMORPGs, the 3 that I've played in my entire life. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I'm hoping they'll give you a chance to kind of try some of the different ones out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just don't know. We don't, because the demo doesn't start you at the beginning of the game, so we don't actually know how the game is going to start and what that's going to look like. So yeah, so I want to wrap up this conversation, but I'm curious to hear what your overall impression is and if you're excited about it. I would say for me, I am tentatively optimistic about it, because I think it feels different and interesting enough to me, different enough than Destiny, and deep enough with all of the loot specialization and customization to kind of catch my interest. Whether or not the gameplay and the level design and all of that will be good enough to kind of keep you playing for a long time, I don't know. But I am hopeful. I have a feeling that this is going to be one of those games that's really good about a year after launch. And so I feel like if people were a little bit hestant, it definitely wouldn't hurt to wait at least a few months to buy it, which I think I will probably end up doing. I'll probably end up waiting, but I'm tentatively optimistic and pretty interested after seeing this demo.
It's a lot of fun to play.
Yeah.
I have serious concerns about the story.
Okay.
I don't know where they dropped us in the middle of this demo.
Yeah.
But it's not compelling.
Oh, that's.
I don't see an arc really.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get what we're doing. I don't get why we're doing what we're doing. And it's very probable that
so it might be a little too similar to Destiny 1 in that.
I don't. I was kind of hoping for a rich story that compels me forward into the universe, and I'm not sure that that's there. Of course, again, like I said, this is a demo, and maybe they picked the specific spot in the story specifically because it's like we can put them here without giving too much away or whatever, So that's possible. I just don't know. I'm very much of the mind of don't pre-order, don't buy day one, just wait until real user reviews come out, because especially from big companies, reviews get bought, reviews get paid for, and you never, especially pre-release. And then there's the aspect of influence and stuff. So
yeah,
I'm gonna wait until I get real user reviews on how it is. I don't expect much from the story at this moment, but the gameplay is a lot of fun, and as long as I have 3 other friends who have the game,
right,
I will get it and play it, because so far it's a really fun game to play with people. I played with 2 other friends this afternoon, and that was way more fun than playing by yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm inclined to play. Sorry. I'm inclined to play it at some point. Just definitely not day one.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. My plan is to wait as well, but I'm hoping it delivers, because I think it could be a lot of fun. It's interesting you bring up the story, because I think that's one thing people are expecting to be good about this game, because it is a BioWare game, right? And so.
Which is
they're known. There's so much emphasis
to expect,
on, right?
Because of Andromeda.
Well, yeah, but people historically, right? People, we try to forget that Andromeda exists when we think about BioWare and just think about the other games they've made. And so it's interesting you bring up story, because I think, I would, and I think a lot of people would expect the story to actually be really good or compelling in some way. And so it'll actually be interesting if that ends up very much not being the case. But I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. I guess now that you mentioned actually thinking about Mass Effect, there are definitely spots they could have just dropped you in for a demo that would make no sense to the overarching story.
Right.
And that's quite possibly where we're at, is there's just a branch that we're on.
Yeah, we have no idea. So yeah, I think it's probably wise to hold off on judgment there. But
it's also wise to be cautious and just wait and see.
Yes. You don't need to pre-order.
No.
There's really no reason to pre-order games anymore. Especially as a consumer, not. Right? Especially games like this where you know there's going to be server issues, bug issues. You know, I mean, I would have hoped that after Fallout 76, that was like people just learn now, like, oh, okay, maybe just don't pre-order games anymore because that can happen. But
nope.
I feel like sometimes gamers have short memory spans or something. We're like goldfish. Ooh, shiny game! I need it.
We're consumers. We're deep consumers.
It's a cultural thing.
It's a problem. That's definitely something. That's something we could talk about at another time.
I know. So many. We've got some exciting topics actually for future episodes that we were talking about today. That we're planning for, and that could be one of them.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our second topic of the pod. And this one is a bit of a more kind of gamer culture type of topic because it surrounds Twitch and streamers. Specifically, the question of Twitch advertising some of their own streamers on other people's channels. Okay, so the first time this happened, and it did cause a huge controversy, although I don't think we talked about it, was in December, this last December, when Ninja, of course, like probably one of the most popular streamers in the world, he had a New Year's Eve event that Twitch, that was like a huge deal. He was in Times Square, and Twitch advertised his event on other streamers' channels. This actually pissed a lot of streamers off because they felt like Twitch shouldn't be doing that. They thought maybe they'd be pulling some of their own viewers to someone else's channel. They felt it was really inappropriate. There was a lot of drama about it. Kind of died down, but then it stirred up again this week because another huge Twitch streamer named Pokimane is doing a similar event. I think it's like tied into the NFL actually. NFL and Fortnite are kind of doing a joint event with streamers, and she is hosting it. There are going to be some other big streamers there, I believe, but she's hosting it. And it was the same situation where Twitch advertised this event that she will be hosting on other streamers' channels. So since these ads started going out, I have seen multiple like tweets of streamers saying that this is horrible, this is very inappropriate. Twitch should not be putting like advertisements with her on their streams. Of course, there's like infinite Reddit threads.
Reddit.
I'll just throw out some quotes out there. I don't like to generalize from Reddit quotes, but it actually does capture kind of a lot of what I've been seeing all over the internet. Things like Twitch is pulling a YouTube by not listening to their community because the community already spoke that this was not okay. Some people are worried that their Twitch is promoting advertiser-friendly favorites, and by playing favoritism, they will actually eventually start discouraging and demonetizing channels that are less advertiser-friendly. And so that this will actually have some kind of like backlash on, I guess, streamers that are a little more, I don't know, like have more language or something, less advertiser-friendly. Mm-hmm. Which is actually, that's where the comparison to YouTube comes into play, because YouTube has kind of been doing that, shifting away from these more problematic, controversial YouTubers and demonetizing them. We're worried Twitch is going to go the same way. I don't know. I mean, I guess what I should say is that the main backlash is that Twitch should not be doing this. They shouldn't be playing favorites, and they especially shouldn't be playing favorites and putting their favorite on other people's channels. Pokimane actually did respond to this, and it was kind of a generic response, but she acknowledged that there was a lot of kind of drama around this, and basically said that Twitch kind of just decides how to advertise on their own, that streamers like her don't always know how they're going to do that. But she also said that she thinks that these advertisements and events are good for Twitch as a whole because it moves their platform forward in a way that will benefit all streamers, big or small, and that all streamers should be excited about stuff like this. Obviously, she's got a lot of money in the game probably to have that kind of perspective, but that was her response. So that's kind of a short summary of this controversy. My first question to you is, do you think it's appropriate for Twitch to be advertising their favorite streamers, so to speak, on other people's channels?
Appropriate's an interesting word.
That's true. Well, yeah, what's your take? I mean, I guess you don't have to go by the word appropriate, but...
Sorry, my internet was... I think it was my internet.
I saw you your videos cutting in and out a little bit. Oh, are you there? Uh-oh. We might have lost Kraig. Kraig! I don't know if he's still talking. I don't know if he knows that we lost him. I'm gonna keep talking until he comes back. Hopefully he comes back soon. I'll go ahead and answer that question, actually. Is it appropriate for Twitch to to advertise some streamers on other people's channels? My response is generally yes. One, Twitch is a company; they can do whatever they want, and so that's not really a question to me. I can understand why other streamers would be a little upset, because when you're a streamer, so much of your revenue and business comes from your viewership. And so if you feel like your own platform of Twitch is kind of working against you and maybe pulling some of your viewership, which is your income, away from you to something else, that would feel kind of crappy to me. So I get where they're coming from. That said, I actually do think that these big events that Twitch is running, where they do advertise for them, and they're usually collaborations with big game companies like Epic Games, or like this recent one it's a collaboration with the NFL. I mean, that kind of stuff is huge. That is bringing Twitch as a platform to such a bigger audience, and the bigger that audience grows, the more it will benefit all streamers. And so I definitely agree with what Pokimane, kind of her point. Are you back, Kraig?
I'm back.
You're back. Yeah, so you just like disappeared.
Yeah, okay, because I started talking and then I noticed you were just like completely standing still, and I'm like, are you frozen? Am I here? There's no response. So I was like, oh, I've just been talking into space.
Yeah, I was worried that might have happened. You froze on mine too, and the audio froze, so I just started talking.
Okay. Good. Dope.
But you're back. Okay. So tell me your thoughts.
My thoughts.
I didn't hear anything.
So cool. I think I got a practice round in then.
There you go.
My thoughts. I think starting from the bottom, I think it's incredibly arrogant of a small streamer to assume that Twitch running an ad of another streamer on their stream is going to damage their views.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen, especially not from Ninja, not from Pokimane, not from Lupo, Tim, anybody like that, because the fact of the matter is that they are prolific. They are so far out of your league that literally everybody on Twitch, unless they are brand new, knows about them. And if they don't, that's not going to last for long. Yeah. These people are known worldwide. They're closer to a syndicated television show than they are to an actual streamer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reality that they live in. So I think it's foolish to think as a small streamer that them running an ad on your stream is going to take away viewership. If it were actually like, if Twitch decided to run an ad on a rotating basis of other small streamers, on your stream as a small streamer, I get that. That'd be a little weird and frustrating.
That's
I
more
mean, of
like their
course,
direct competition. Is that why you're
exactly.
okay?
Yeah, you're not in that's a good way to put it. You're not in competition with Ninja or Pokimane or any of Tfue,
Right.
any of those people. You're not
Yeah.
yet.
No. Yeah. If you're
Get
small,
up to
yeah.
partners, get up to partner status, and maybe, and even then, probably not.
Well, it is the smaller partners, I think, um that can actually run ads for revenue, and so I'm
Yeah,
guessing
and I
it's
still,
them that would be raising the stand.
still
I mean, I think
don't.
affiliates are complaining too, but I don't know why they're affiliates.
I still don't think that like because I don't I don't know how Twitch works at a higher level like that. I've never been
Hmm.
there. I can't speak to that. I have an understanding, but it's not great. And I still don't think, that's how that I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah.
I could be a little wrong. I don't know. I don't see that as I don't see that as really being competition for you kind of thing. And then the other
Yeah.
thing is it's Twitch's site. They can do whatever they
Right.
want. That doesn't mean it's good. That doesn't mean it's a good idea,
Hmm.
because the other side of this is I really do see Twitch going down the same path that YouTube went.
Mm.
That has completely killed off small creators on YouTube at times. Like
Yeah.
straight up animation on YouTube is a freaking ghost town. I remember there was a period in time where like most of my hot feed was animators because I loved that stuff.
Hmm.
People were hilarious and great, and that
Hmm.
was the kind of content that I consumed. Not anymore. There's
Well,
just not many on.
there's not very many on, and YouTube has moved away. Like some of their most recent like monetization I words are losing me, but like plan or whatever, they made it a lot harder for people to make money off
Yeah.
YouTube. Like you had to have more subscribers than before, more views than before they would even give you any ad revenue. So they actually made that harder. What is a little more hopeful to me when it comes to Twitch is that Twitch has in the last year and continues to do so, um, been making steps to make it easier for
Mm-hmm.
smaller streams to make money. So they created the affiliate program, which is for smaller streamers, which didn't even exist before.
And then they expanded it on
And they've
top of
been
that.
expanded it, and they've continued to add features to it and features that are available for affiliates. And so they are kind of actually going, at least recently, they've been going in a different direction than YouTube, which gives me some hope. But overall, I think I agree with just about everything you've said.
Yeah.
I don't think, people are like, oh, they're stealing my viewers or something. Like, if that were true, I actually could understand why they'd get upset, right? Because viewership is usually correlated in overall income for
Mm-hmm.
people that stream for a living, at least. But I generally think that's not what's happening. I don't think, Twitch running a Pokimane ad on your channel is going to turn half of your channel into Pokimane subscribers and they're never going to come back again. Like, I don't think
Not to
that's the
mention,
case.
not to mention the ad is for an event that's happening
Right.
in
It's for an
a
event,
month
a
or something.
one-time
I don't
event.
know. Yeah.
Um, and actually, it's interesting when you think about it too, because this is like in other media, like cable TV, this happens all the time. There
Yeah.
are commercial breaks in the middle of your show where they advertise other shows.
Yeah.
And so obviously there's some differences, right? Those shows that they're advertising aren't running at the same time as your show is, where with streams they can be running at the same time. I get that there's differences there. But the main core concept is still the same. They're trying to take your viewers and direct them to another show for them to watch. Um, and so that's something that just happens all the time in media, but not really Twitch until now, I guess.
And
Um,
I think that's a false equivalency. Um, I like I said, if it was smaller, they're promoting other smaller streams over other smaller streams, and you could prove that there was a bias. That makes sense. However, these are the top streams on Twitch. They bring in Twitch the most revenue,
mhm.
and events like this are what bring in even more revenue. And on top of that, create new viewership for Twitch. So
Yeah,
it's in their interest that everybody on Twitch shows up for that.
right.
It makes sense, especially from a business side. It makes sense for Twitch to advertise to itself. in that regard.
Yeah, this is the most from a business standpoint, it's the most unsurprising thing in the world. Why wouldn't Twitch do that? Why wouldn't they take these super popular advertiser friendly streamers and use them to elevate their platform even more? And like I said earlier, I do agree with Pokimane that what's good for the platform as a whole is likely to benefit all their streamers. I think I saw some people responding to her saying that, like, oh, it's trickle down streamonomics or something. And it's like, okay. I don't know if that's the greatest comparison. But yeah, it was kind of funny. But I don't think that's exactly what this is, because it's not like we're gonna give more money to the rich and then it's gonna trickle down. Although Pokimane, I'm assuming, will make more money off of this. The idea is that if you bring more people just into the Twitch platform itself, more viewers itself, those viewers will get spread around somehow, some way. No one logs into Twitch for the first time and only watches the first streamer they come to. No, like, absolutely. That's not what happens at all. In fact, I probably hardly watch any of the streamers now that I first started watching when I first got on Twitch. And so, like, yeah, those views will go elsewhere, even if they start with Pokimane. And so I think it's a good thing for Twitch. I'm not offended by it. I kind of feel like people are just finding a reason to get mad once again. And the weird thing too is that ads are not rare. Like, I mean, people like viewers still have to watch ads on Twitch. They're just mad that it's another streamer. It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but I don't know.
My big, like, the out of all of the things to be concerned about, my biggest concern is and it's not like it's a light concern, because it's not necessarily indicative of a direction. It's just sort of reminiscent of other things in the past. Is the fact that they're choosing specifically family friendly, and I get that because they're putting themselves out in public view. What is it? It's not the Rose Bowl, but it's at some football.
Game. Oh, it's the Super Bowl.
Is it the Super Bowl?
Well, it's not on the Super Bowl, but it's an NFL event. I think
it's an NFL event, so there's going to be, it's a NFL is a family friendly.
Oh, Pro Bowl. Was it a Pro Bowl thing?
Pro Bowl. I think you're right. It's the Pro Bowl. But either way, it's an NFL event. Families are going to be there, so I understand putting forward the right foot. You don't want traditional dads seeing their kid play or watching somebody play something highly inappropriate and talking highly inappropriately.
Right.
It makes sense to put your family friendly.
That's the decision I would make.
I would just be concerned about that becoming more of a theme, because that's what happened to YouTube. Inappropriate things no longer get funded simply because they're inappropriate, and advertisers don't want their stuff on inappropriate stuff, even those definitely advertisers who really don't care. Not to mention there's advertisers who shouldn't care, who maybe do, and that's just hypocritical of them. Like, like larger corporate entities. But point being is that my hope is that Twitch doesn't make this a standard, that they only support family friendly streams and stuff, because there's a large majority of Twitch who's not family friendly, and that's how they started, and that's how they got where they are, and that's how it works. And when you start limiting creative expression like that, then that's when you stop being creative.
Right. And so I think I'm with you. I think as far as like the streamers that they promote for these events, they're almost always going to be family friendly, because
and that makes sense,
because you have to, right?
Out in the public eye.
Right, because you're putting it out in the public eye, and so of course that you're going to do that. It's the safest thing. It makes sense. They're going to keep doing that. That's not going to change. They're not going to put a super controversial streamer out there for these big events. But the hope is that the more, the less family friendly, which I guess would just be people that cuss a lot more or something, and which is a lot of streamers. The key is that they don't get demonetized, because that's what YouTube is doing. It's not just that YouTube is promoting family friendly stuff. It's that they're demonetizing people a lot more. And so that's what we'll have to look out for. It's not who are they promoting, who is Twitch promoting, because of course we know what to expect there. It's are they starting to demonetize a lot more? That's where it'll feel like, okay, this is maybe a slippery slope that we need to pay more attention to.
Yep.
But I'm fine. Bring on the Pokemon ads. No problem here.
Not to mention, especially if you're already not affiliated but a partnered streamer, you're still making money off of a Pokemon ad.
Yeah, it's true. Like if they can run ads and they get ad revenue, and so
that's another thing I find funny. One of the comments on the Reddit thread was "You block Origin," and I was like, I mean, you're just hurting your streamer.
Yeah,
because then they don't get the ad revenue.
Right.
I mean, if you only watch small streamers who aren't partnered,
yeah,
go for it,
then it doesn't affect money
anyways.
Right.
But yeah, if it's another partnered streamer, the only person you're hurting with that you block Origin is them.
Yeah, very true. All right. Well, I think that's all the thoughts I have on that Twitch controversy. It will be interesting to see what ads they tend to or what ads they do in the future. They kind of continue these. I think they will continue doing what they're doing, but
of course they will.
And eventually people will get used to it. But
and I agree with you, and I agree with Pokemon. You know, what's generally speaking, what's good for the platform is good for everyone.
Yeah, there is definitely truth to that.
It's just a matter of hopefully Twitch can keep their goals in mind, and hopefully their goals maintained to be helping small streamers as well, not just the large ones, not just the people who make them money. So
okay, well that's about it. Let's check in on what we're playing this week, or what we've been playing, before we wrap up. Any interesting video gaming on your end?
No.
Just
pure Black Ops.
Pure Black Ops. You're still pretty deep in the Black Ops, huh?
It's just it's convenient.
Yeah, I feel you.
Issue with it. It's really convenient, and honestly, been getting a lot of good playtime out of the skin chase and everything.
Nice.
Unlocking skins and leveling weapons and stuff. It hits my little dopamine button.
Yeah, and Call of Duty games are great for that.
Like, I'm not proud of it per se. Like,
well,
it's not shameful, but at the same time, I'm just like, ugh.
Well, okay, I feel like there's too much shame directed at that, because most video games are designed that way. Whether it's a gunskin unlock, or beating a difficult level, or reaching a point in the story, it's some kind of dopamine hit, some little reward that you are getting, and it's just that the reward can vary very widely in how it looks. And so that's all video games, lots of entertainment really is little rewards, little moments of excitement, whatever it is, you know.
Yeah. And then obviously today and sometime last night I've been playing
some Anthem.
So,
yeah.
You got my thoughts on that. So that's pretty much just been my it's been my life. I haven't been playing a whole lot. Sick kid stuff.
Yeah, so, I feel you. So I got to play finally Deltarune, which is the follow-up to Undertale, and it is fantastic. Now I should say I only played like the first chapter, because that's all that exists. He actually hasn't. I don't even think Toby Fox has started the other chapters yet, or if he has, it's very much like I'm kind of bummed about this, but I don't think we're going to be seeing more of this game for at least another year or two. But it is fantastic. It is a pretty big sizable chapter. It's set in the Undertale kind of universe, so there's still lots of different monsters with crazy personalities. The dialogue is just as funny and clever. The character design, it's all fantastic. If you loved Undertale, you will love Deltarune, and you should go play it. Oh my gosh, like I don't want to spoil too much, but I am gonna mention a few things. So if you haven't played it yet and you want to go in blind, maybe like stop the podcast now because we're about to end anyway. But what's really tripping me out about this game is that you start playing as a character that looks exactly like the character you played in Undertale, and you are living with Toriel, who is like the mom goat character. She is your mom in the game. You eventually find out that your brother is Asriel, who is actually also in the main game, but was the original son who was like killed and then became the flower in some way. Going way into like Undertale lore. So if you've never played Undertale, you're gonna have no idea what I'm talking about. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that all the characters that are in Undertale are also in Deltarune, but it's as if none of them know each other, and that none of them. It's like in a parallel universe or something where all the characters exist, but the events of the first game never happened, and all the relationships and everything, like the whole world, is very different. And it's really trippy, and I can't figure out if the whole game's gonna be like that, where it's like we just decided it'd be fun to kind of like have the same characters but in a different story, or if there is gonna be some tie-in. What really kind of like gave me a clue that there might be a tie-in is that I met Sans, and Sans is the Bones character in the first game who always knew what was going on. Like he actually knew the meta that like you were replaying the game over and over again and that you were dying and then like resaving and restarting. He actually knew all of that. He's like a very meta character. And his dialogue lines in this game kind of gave that same feel, like he actually maybe knew what was going on even though he wasn't letting on. So anyway, I'm kind of nerding out about this right now. I apologize for anyone who has never played Undertale or Deltarune, but it's fantastic. The ending of the chapter actually gave me goosebumps because it's incredibly chilling. All I'll say is that the end of the chapter tells you what the rusty, beat-up cage in your room is used for. It's like the creepiest thing I've ever seen, and it made me desperately want to play the next chapter. But it's fantastic. If you're a game of Undertale, go play this game right now if you haven't. I imagine you probably have because it's been out a while and I just procrastinated. But it's really good. The music also, again, really good. I need it. I need more of it in my life. So I had to share about that because I did play it since the last pod. It's fantastic. I streamed it.
Rewatch your thing.
You can rewatch my VOD. www.twitch.tv/A Freudian Trip. Eventually I'm going to upload it to my YouTube as well, but so you can catch my playthrough there if you want. So good. So good. I had to gush. Thank you for tolerating.
Oh my god, I just realized I'm a liar. I played Human Fall Flat and started Senua's Sacrifice.
Oh.
This week as well.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to finish Senua's Sacrifice. It's rough.
Is it?
It's hard. Like, that is rough.
Yeah, that's
you have voices in your head constantly.
Yeah.
Like, oh god.
The game that I've wanted to play for the experience. I haven't gotten around to it. I don't know if I will, but
it is an experience.
Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, I've been doing some like Game Pass stuff is what it is.
Yeah. That's cool.
About that,
yeah.
It's not been my focus.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up. That is the pod. Thank you everyone for listening. If you were listening on Twitch, and of course our later listeners once this gets uploaded to YouTube. It's been a pleasure as always. Signing off, Freud and Tungsten Phoenix. We will see you next time. Bye. All right, let me actually check. I don't think there were any chatters this time. Oh, Elite Gaming League. Hi, welcome.
Yo.
Just joined at the end. We appreciate you joining anyway. The end of our recorded podcast. Feel free to catch the VOD. And yeah, but we're gonna sign off because I've got some stuff to do.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm so tired.
Go rest, my man.
I'm not gonna.
You're gonna play Anthem, aren't you?
Dinners around the corner, and then I probably won't get to play Anthem this evening.